Hello, everybody.
Hey, what's going on, guys?
I am Janae Strother.
I'm Sean Spencer.
Back.
We are back.
We are back, ladies and gentlemen.
I gotta go out and hold up.
Come on. The lion. The lion. New man losing so fine. Kirk Cousins. Woo!
All right. I am Janae Strother.
I am Sean Spencer.
And this is Let's Talk Football.
Yeah, buddy. Yeah, buddy. Hold up. Let's go, baby. Let's get it done. It's Wednesday, ladies and gentlemen. You know what that means. Washington Football Weekly.
Let's get it.
Back at
Let's
you.
get it.
Can't point right.
Woo! Woo! I'm feeling fresh. I'm feeling good.
I'm feeling good,
Let's
baby.
go! Yo, what's going on, ladies and gentlemen? It's Spencer, one half that dynamic dude that's Let's Talk Football. And it's Wednesday, ladies and gentlemen. So you know what that means. Washington Football Weekly! And you know what's going on. Yo, you know who I got with me? I got Dub K, okay, Mr. South Carolina's eggplant, right below me. And yes, I got my main man, Mr. World Support himself. The alien, 2 weeks in a row. 2 weeks in a row.
I'm back, baby.
Let's
back.
get it. I love that. I love it. That's what's up. Try to get with us at the end of the show. Hopefully, we can definitely get him on here. Do his mock. I know he's got things he wants to say to Anton, so he's not gonna let Anton slide. So
I ain't either.
going on, ladies and gentlemen. It's Wednesday, guys. How you feeling today? How you feeling? Y'all good?
I'm feeling great. Closer and closer to this draft. Let's get it.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I got my second vaccine yesterday. Feeling good today. All set to go. Re-enter the world. Good things. Draft is next week. I mean, come on. Christmas is right around the corner.
Let's go. Right. Shout out to Will, man. Draft is next week, April 29th, next Thursday, a week from tomorrow, ladies and gentlemen. So all of you that are out there that are like us, that just crave this time, that have done multiple mock drafts, draft over draft. Do I get a quarterback? Do I get a linebacker, a corner? Who's available? Who's not? This is that time of the year, ladies and gentlemen. I absolutely love it. Shout out to my guys on the round table. We will be in Chicago a week from tomorrow for a live draft event, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, my goodness. I can't wait, man. I can't wait.
Me neither, baby.
Yo.
Me neither.
Shout out. We got some folks already watching us. Nathan Snell's on there. Marie Metter. What's up, people? Glad you can join us. I think Nick's out there, too. What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? So we're going to get right on into it. I did want to shout out my man, my bartender, who has been out for a while because of COVID and everything, just got back down to it. But I want to shout him out because while I know the pandemic and everything hit everybody, I love that, Will, you just talked about you got your second dose. I got my 2. Kat's got hers. We're good to go. You know, we hope, all these different variants, whatever. But while he was out and while he could not be at the bar because obviously restaurants shut down, my man decided, I need to make some more income, decided get into real estate. You know what I'm saying? Just sold his first property not too long ago. Came to the bar, show us. He had a little check. He had a nice little hefty check. Got him commission. So they took care of business. So shout out, man. My man.
Shout out.
Yeah, my man Manuel Ramos, man, real estate angel. He's with Weichert. Also does work at Fridays, but also works at this place in Haymarket, Sterling. It's a newer restaurant just opened up. It's called Locals, Tacos, and Tequilas. So definitely might have to check that thing out. But shout out to you, man. Shout out to you for sure. I was glad to hear. We always want to uplift people and that are doing big things. But we are here to talk Washington Washington Football Weekly. That's the name of the show. And I got to shout out my man Will. He brought a good question. He always hits us in the group chat and sends us some good topics and questions. And this week, we've been paying attention to all the marketing and everything for Washington. And one of the things that we've been trying to for far too long, okay? We've tried to sit here and say we're the football team and like we good? Are we back? If we're not going back to the Washington Redskins, then we need to have something new. So, Will, I'm gonna come to you first, man. Like, what do you think? I mean, what do you think about them? You know, going to the fans about it. But what should our name be?
Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, yeah. So they sent out I think it was the season ticket holders, and they put a whole bunch of names on there. And there's some. I think they're trying to appease the fans since they said they have over 15,000 submissions. So they were throwing some out there because they put some dumb names out there like the Barons and the Demon Cats and just nothing. I think this is a big PR move. Truthfully, I think they know the 3 or 4 names they're really considering, and I think they might be looking to see if what they're considering is on the same page as the rest of them. Truthfully, what I'm looking for out of this is and actually, I am on Team Red Wolves. That is the name that I would like for it to move to. And the reason why, and if it's not Red Wolves, I would like something else that begins with R, maybe Renegades. And the reason being is I think there's a chance to bridge the past with the future. Yeah, I would love to see Ron Rivera wearing the Joe Gibbs script R hat on the sidelines.
Yes.
They're already going to keep the burgundy and gold. You keep, that R that fans like myself could see and be like, you are the new team, but I can think back to what I grew up with, some symbols. This is kind of silly, but I love the hashtag HTTR, and obviously you can't say hail to the Red Wolves, but I don't know. What if you did howl to the Red Wolves or something? If you can just keep some of that stuff up, I just think it'd be a way to bridge everybody. Yes. I know there's also Wolves or Warriors and stuff, and I think to me it's like if we lose the HTTR, it's just going to be crushing. Because that really, to me, would be like the stuff from the past is completely gone. But I'll tell you this: I really hope that the organization is just using this as a PR move. That they are further along in this than just asking fans, "What do we think?" Because I will say, of all this, man, I got PTSD from going through this with the Washington Bullets. So I am freaking out about what name are we going to come up with. So
I'm not gonna lie, aren't we the only area that has 2 teams
twice?
Yeah, 2 teams with problems. Yeah,
and so already I'm already nervous that they're gonna pick something. We're all gonna go, "Are you serious?" So that's my thoughts. I would be okay with Red Wolves. I could howl on a sack by Chase Young and have some fun with it. But yeah, that's my thoughts.
Yeah, I know, right? Everybody throughout the stadium start howling and stuff.
Would be kind of fun.
You know what? That's a great point, Will, because that would definitely keep our HTTR.
Exactly.
And I mean that you cleared everything out of my brain saying that right now, man. But honestly, I definitely don't. I don't like our, having the football team. Yeah, it's kind of a comic, sarcastic tone when you're talking with everybody else. Like, oh, you guys got beat by the football team. Like, it's a sarcastic tone to keep with everybody else. But man, I want a team name. We don't have a mascot. You want something that creates the balance in your team. Where does that lead to us? But yes, I agree. I do hope that it's kind of all right, we have the people in our cabinet with the answer. Now let's see if the poll with the people is the same thing. If it works out to, one of those 2 names that they're putting out there for season holders, if it works out, I think, we'll be stuck. it just sucks that we now have this 2-year hiatus
Mhm.
in the history books that we couldn't come up with a team name. Like,
Right.
I am upset about that. Like,
Yeah.
why Snyder just all of a sudden was like, you know what, screw everybody, I'm gonna drop the Redskins name. For what reason? To let other people try and come up with a team name.
Yeah.
It does suck, but Rebels was out there, Red Wolves was out there, Red Tails was out there. I want something of the R. Period. I don't want that to change. We have so much apparel to go through, and having that scenario, it'd be the same thing of doing the Washington Wizards. Like, you're sitting there, you're like, man, do I really want to buy their gear? Like, it sounded so bad when they first came out, and then Michael Jordan tried to get on the team to like hype up the Wizards getting their name. Like, it doesn't work out that way. I really feel that Red Tails or Red Wolves will be our thing. And if I thought about having the Red Tails, we have a burgundy tail, so why not use that to our benefit?
Right.
Yeah.
Out of those two choices, I would actually choose.
I get. Yeah, I'm with that. I like that, but honestly, I go with Renegades, and the reason why I say Renegades, along the lines of us keeping in line what we're doing with it being. See, when I think of a renegade, I kind of don't necessarily. I mean, what is that? A savage? Is that in Native American? Like, what's a renegade? I think we can play with that and something where we can keep the mascot as similar as possible. I love keeping it HTTR.
Yeah.
I like Red Tails. I'm not gonna lie to you, but one of the reasons why we got rid of Red
is the name
Skins for racial issues and the name and what it meant, and then for Red Tails in a different way. So the BPC, I think you would have to go with. I like Red Wolves, but then I think mascot. Like, are we gonna have a wolf on the sideline just running around like we're not a college team?
Yeah,
you know what I mean. But I like Renegades. I like Renegades because
it'd be like a Mad Max kind of.
Where it's just somebody on the sideline.
What if we had like the Hogs in like the Renegade outfit?
Well, that's another one. Somebody put like Washington like the Hogs something. The Hogs.
Yeah, I can't do that.
Like 10s or something. So I went with that, but it was just like, oh, okay, I guess you could say that, but nah, that one too much. So yeah, that's interesting though. That's definitely interesting.
I think
we need to get something.
Another name that I heard that I like, because I liked your Renegades idea, was also Red Spears, and you could use that helmet from like the 70s that they had. But I think, and this one reason why I don't know if Renegades can be used is I wonder if that's too closely associated with the Native American imagery that they're trying to get rid of. And they don't, if they're going to do a name change, they're not going to allow for anything close to it. And that's also my concern with why they're going to pick something so different than what we're looking for. Is just because they want that fresh start. They don't want anything, to be looking like the old stuff.
Yeah, they chose a big name for a reason, not to look back and have another problem 10 years down the road.
Right.
Well, exactly. So. And there's a lot of branding with, like you said, with HTTR. You know what I mean? Be it from just how this is something that is common to us, and it's something that we try to keep. Like, nobody wants to say HTTWT. What is that? Like, I can't. That's not. You know what I mean? It's like, come on now. HTTR is what it is.
It's weird when the hashtag almost tries to come with WTF and not WFT.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Right. But now look, so I am very eager for us to get a new name, and one of the reasons being is we're undefeated against Dallas as the football team. So I would like to keep that in our. We are undefeated against Dallas as the football team. And just I need something over them. I need something.
Wouldn't that be something? The 2 years running, They're under they stay undefeated in Dallas in that 2 years that the name is in play.
The only
when
team
the East
That'd be
comes
beautiful.
back as the Washington football team. Oh.
Right. The team wins back-to-back NFC division championships. I love that.
Right.
Let's get it. And so, guys, and this is and shout out to Mandy, Clark, Josh Eberson. Josh says, I like the Washington Wolves. I like that. The Red Wolves, something like that. I mess with that. I want to keep it at that R, man. Let's bring that back. But we shall see. The Gates would be cool too. That's what we were talking about. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So I'm gonna go ahead and to one of our favorite segments of the show. Oh, there we go. Wait, is it going? Like it, love it, or hated it. Yeah, buddy. And this is a little point to talk about certain topics that are in the Washington in our community that have to our team and or around our team that we try to, put our 2 cents in on. And we have to start with now. We released him after he had a great he had a year with us. He beat the undefeated Steelers as our quarterback. Mr. Alex Smith is retiring. Oh, I'm going to come to you, Mr. Moral Support, first, man. What you got to say? I got to shout him out, man. Shout out
man.
Smith.
Look,
what you got, Anton?
I got to say, he did a remarkable job with our team, period. He gave everybody the benefit of the doubt. He came out and proved everybody wrong. Everybody can say it was a cheating way how he came on the field. Regardless, I mean, divine intervention put him out there on the field, and he led our team to a title. That's it. He did that and made his mark as his last time out. Now I'm proud that he's going out now and not trying to come back on the field on another team and trying to be like that broken horse that's out there. Leave while you're on top. His family's proud of him. The team is proud of him. All his fans are proud of him. He did the Washington team great justice by being here. I do hate how his scenario happened on our team, but at the end of it, I can look at him and say, you know what? Thank you, sir.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
What you got,
Absolutely. Will, what you got, man?
Yeah, I mean, I love it. I love it for him. The fact, just like you said, he's retiring as a winner. As a winner of just being able to get back on the field is winning. The fact he came in and helped stabilize, lead that position. The numbers weren't very good, but I think there was a lot more to him on that team and with those young guys than his passing yards and what he did. I mean, I'm with you, Mr. More I can't with my hand. There moral support up there. I think it played a big role.
He was Mr. Moral.
Helping us out, yeah. I think, and I think there was the intangibles that if you can't work as hard as this guy, man, you got something wrong with you, out there. I think it helped the team out, and I think it's wonderful that he's not going to be in Jacksonville as a backup for a year or two. Not really, go there as a coach if that's what you want to do. Don't your legacy is coming back on the field. You took your team to the playoffs. That's awesome. It's going to be one heck of a Hollywood movie in 10, 15 years.
Throw the fireworks. Let him have his 30 on 30 film on ESPN.
Yep.
I see it. He's going to have a book and a story to be told.
Oh, yeah.
That's going to be forever told.
Yeah.
And I love that. I love that. This is what we wanted. Okay, this is what we wanted. I think at a point, Will, because it is your coach has cancer and is getting IVs at halftime. Quarterback almost lost his life in surgery. How can you sit here and not, put forth a full effort and everything? That's why we got so mad at Dwayne Haskins, because you're sitting here and going to strip clubs without masks but these guys are literally they essentially in our mind gave their life for the team. You know what I mean? If you can't, so that it's just a different dedication. I agree. I think it was a lot of optics having him. Now they came out and said, "Hey, we don't want Rivera was scared everything," and the man almost died. Okay, the man has called him Mr. One Leg all year. You know what I mean? Like he was struggling. And I'll always go back to that first sack he took with Aaron Donald hopped on his back, and I was like, his knee's done. I was like, there.
Oh, the whole air out of everybody's TV when they saw him go down. Yeah. Donald was looking at him like, "Are you getting up? Are you getting up? Are you getting up?"
Like,
yeah.
And I mean, and so for him to get through that. And then I think he was the absolute Anton. You said you gave everybody reason to believe calming force we needed to upset Pittsburgh. He was that guy, but he's gonna get bits. He's gonna get enough. Our defense played played balls to the wall. They played their butts off, and he did exactly what. He kept us together, and he led us to that game. And I think that's signifying. And you know how I felt. I did not want to be going back out there with any other team and doing any of that. You had your run. You got here. Go home, man. And I'm so glad. Mm-hmm. Shout out to you, Alex. How I feel about it, man. Honestly. So now I'm going to move on from that, and Will, I'm coming to you. Where's that? Bryce Love gets cut.
Mm-hmm.
Put on waivers, hurt for most of the time, but what's up, Will?
Yeah, I hate this only because I just hate it for the player. This is the perfect classic example of when your stock is high in college, you got to go pro. He was on top of the nation as a running back for Stanford his junior year, and he came back and then he shredded his ACL. And I don't think, clearly he's never been the same. But I think he just continues to have setback after setback in his recovery. I think that, you think wait, he didn't really get a chance this year. I got to think, just like with Thaddeus Moss, the coaches saw enough to say, you know what, he's not the same player. We can get that in the draft. We don't need this, so I hate it. I hate it. It's coming in college football. These bowl games are getting watered down. But again, it's like, what happened to Jalen Smith of the Cowboys? Played in a meaningless bowl game and shredded his ACL. And he came back, thank goodness. But what are the odds of these guys coming back from these injuries? It's like, and he becomes the poster child of, he could have been a top pick. Now he hasn't even taken a snap in the NFL for it. So I hate it for the guy, just for the situation that he's in. It's too bad because if it could have worked out, it could have been a fourth round pick, could have been a great story, but it just didn't work out.
Damn.
Yeah. And what you got, man?
Man, Mr. Runner up of the Heisman Trophy, somebody that we could have thought would have helped us out. And like you said, Thaddeus Moss, another situation where they're like, risk over reward, guys. What do we choose? I'm choosing my risk right now by tossing them out and whatever. But, along with the story of Bruce is that because he's so prone to not being able to be on the field, all 30, all the teams don't want him.
Mm-hmm.
So if they don't want him, of course we're just going to let him go. There's no point. Why have these guys trying out for a roster if they're not even going to be able to fill a spot? You want to be able to have a 53-man roster with everybody that can be on the field. Mm-hmm. If he can't even try and be on the field, there's no point trying to even keep him. And he's already sat out last year, so he's already got a paperwork on him for not being out there, starting zero for last year. So, with it, I'm happy they let him go. We need to stop wasting money on players that are not going to be on the field.
Yes. You know what I was thinking about this? Our previous team president, general manager, Bruce Allen, this is the type of picks that he would make.
Yes.
He'd get these guys who are injured, and now we've had it work out. Kendall Fuller was a third-round pick. but it's because he got hurt his senior year and he slid in the draft. But, Brooks would go after Reuben Foster, Thaddeus Moss, Bryce Love. He went after Chris Thompson. He picked him in the 5th round, I think, and Thompson had a blown ACL, I think, at Florida State. And so there's some of them work, but it's just one of those things where, there are teams that if you have an injury history like this, they just mark you off their board. Because just like you said, there are, you only get 53 spots. You only get 90 roster spots going into camp. It's like you can only take so many risks on some of these guys before it's like you're just taking up a spot at this point. You have there's a chance, but we need bodies right now. We need people to get reps, and you're not getting reps. You know, something to think about.
Right. Yeah, and I mean, hey, like you said, shout out to Bryce Love, man. At Stanford, he was a monster. He was a solid running back. I was very excited to see that he came to us when he did. But again, there was those injury issues, and that reared its ugly head. And it's like, well, every time he seemed to get healthy, he would get hurt again, or something would happen. Or he just didn't get playing time because we had other people there. So,
I hope that
at this point,
I hope that Thaddeus and him both come back on the field and do us like a Rashad Breeland and come back from somewhere and just dominate. And there's like, you know what, they show that they could be back on the field. Like Breeland, when what's his name? Norman was our number one guy. Breeland sucked. He was like, oh, Norman's gonna do all our work over there on the strong side, And next thing you know, Breeland was getting dusted by everybody. Then the next year, he literally put in the work, and he was he was one of the top 2 guys collecting interceptions. And I think with them getting cut, basically gives them motivation.
Absolutely.
I really do hope that they find motivation to either get back on the practice squad or try and at least become a walk-on, do something that makes that effort back.
Yeah.
No, yeah, we do seem to be the place that people are and dominate, win Super Bowls. I think about Ryan Clark, who was great. I mean, he was actually pretty solid for us, but then he goes to Pittsburgh and just wins Super Bowls and dominates. You know what I mean? And now he's on ESPN, as a commentator and things of that nature. So, yeah, I agree. I can see that between him and Thaddeus Moss. I mean, these are not bad athletes, but we also have to look at it kind of from a GM standpoint as finances. What can you do for me? If you can't stay on the field, you're taking up a roster spot. You know what I mean? So, that's where I'm kind of like, I hate to see him go. I like the guy, but that running back area was already filled. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. With, we got Gibson, McKissick. We got, on the field. And Bryce Love, even healthy, was not going to be a starter. He was going to maybe potentially get time. And then it's like one of the questions, we need to get you somewhere where you can get on the field. Like, you're not going to do it at running back, so go to special teams or something like that. So, and if you can't justify paying you the money. So that's where I think it ends up going. Gonna go ahead and move on. And I'm going to come to here it goes. I'm going to come to you, Ron Rivera and Mark May. You had a press conference, basically essentially saying what we've been talking about in the last couple of weeks, that there's not a need for a quarterback. There's not a need out there. Personally, we've talked about it. I want to start with this. I think that we kind of seen this coming. He has not swayed his tone. He has said this from the beginning. I'm not in the near salivating over these quarterbacks, trying to make this move where I'm trading the whole farm to get somebody. You know what I mean? I am sitting here. It seems like if it falls to him, he'll accordingly when it comes to that situation. But he's not going to go out here doing all this and rush off season, win the off season essentially. You know what I mean? So, Will, what do you think about this, man?
I love it if it's true. We really don't know with these guys if they're just blowing smoke and trying to keep us off what they're doing, But if it's true, I love it because I am so well. First off, I got to tell you, I am so gun shy when it comes to drafting quarterbacks. Anyway, the college game to the pro game, I just think it's so difficult to see who's going to translate. Now this year, I think there are some really good guys, but not every year, even if you've got some of the first couple picks, do I really think like, oh yeah? I mean, I had no thoughts that Justin Herbert was going to turn out to anything, and then he turned out to be great. So what shows you what little I know about quarterbacks. But
he had a good
I did a little bit of research to also explain why I love this. I don't want them going after someone in the second or third round. I think it's a wasted pick. I was looking at the starting quarterbacks. You got 32 NFL teams. 22 starters were picked in the first round. There's 5 that were picked in the second round, but they're always the guys picked at pick number 33 or 34, like right at the top of the second round. You go and get your Andy Daltons. You go and get your David Carrs. It's very rare that you get your Jalen Hurts, who is kind of middle of the second round. Plus the jury's out on him. And Drew Lock, jury's out on him, So then if you go even later than that, round 3 and beyond, there's 5 quarterbacks that are starting right now. You've got shout out to Dallas for finding Dak Prescott in the 4th round. It's a huge deal. Washington with Fitzpatrick right now, he wasn't a high draft pick. Minnesota with Kirk Cousins in the 4th round. Seattle, Russell Wilson in the 3rd round. Tom Brady in the 6th round. We all know that story. The other thing is they're not in consecutive drafts. I just feel like everybody uses this. You can draft a quarterback to develop for later. If it was so freaking easy to do that, every team would do that.
Yes.
Everyone would be full of 2nd, 3rd, 4th round quarterbacks that are your franchise. And so for me, they've got 3 guys on the roster. 2 of them are young. 2 of them haven't gotten a lot of snaps. I don't see what the difference is between Kyle Allen, Taylor Heineke, and any of these guys that are listed in the 2nd round and beyond. Maybe it's upside. It's the unknown. But so I hope they stay clear away from any of the quarterbacks. I don't want Kellen Mond. I don't want Davis Mills. I don't want Kyle Trask. I don't know what you guys will say when we get to our mocks here. But I just think it's everyone's dream is to develop a 3rd round pick. Good luck. That's what everyone wants to do. So for me, let's build our team. Let's go all after it next year.
I get that.
Yeah.
I'm definitely feeling like, Ron has made a lot of good decisions for our team and moving forward and helping the progression of where we're getting rid of the negative from our team. And him and Martin saying that at the press conference, it kind of puts a cloud that, we'll say that we don't want a quarterback. But we still don't know if the guy upstairs named Snyder is going to freaking come out of nowhere and say, you know what? You guys need to decide to have a quarterback, and that's the final. Like, I'm scared to have that thought come forward.
Oh, yeah.
But it's kind of true. Like, he's done that already. Like, it's a proven fact. He will say, screw you guys.
Yep.
Get there. And that's, having that out in the open now. I guess it kind of gives them forward wind before Snyder can actually say something while he's dealing with his own problem in the front office. Like, let's beat him to the punch before he can really say something. But, like these guys that we've gotten to draft, there's a lot of quarterbacks that could be in that 1st round, a lot. And at this moment, we have tried with drafting 2 quarterbacks in the 1st and out of the draft and putting them out, with Griffin and Kirk Cousins and having, our others. It's just better going and getting them in the 3rd, 4th, 5th round and just growing them from there. Give them that progression to like, you know what? You guys made a mistake not getting me in that 1st and 2nd round. I'm gonna prove y'all wrong. But but the quarterbacks that we have now with Allen and Heineke, really trying for that spot. They're like two sophomores really duking it out, while Mr. Senior Fitzpatrick out there is like, he's literally growing from, Splits Patrick to Magic Fitzpatrick or Fitzmagic. Like, he's growing into more of the senior player that we kind of need. I wouldn't say that we want. Like, I can, 6 games down the road, he might hand off the torch, but he's done it on every other team that he's been on lately, and I'm okay with that. Every quarterback that's under him is actually doing pretty good. Tua did pretty damn good with the Dolphins, so why not? With Heine, he's growing with his sense on the field. He had a humongous game in the playoffs. Him showing out that he can actually play in a big game means a lot. And I think now he just has to grow the mentality of the game, and he could be a spot-on good quarterback for us.
Right.
So you think
right on the head.
Heineke's a franchise quarterback? Is what you're saying?
Look, we've had that problem with having like the quarterbacks the first and second year. They don't pan out. Let him grow on the bench, and we can get him from there. Like, if Kurt was a better recipient of being an outspoken quarterback, he would have been a better player. But I think Heinicke being that show out, being, the putting his head on the line, he did all the running around in that playoff game. And it's just proven that he can grow as a bigger player doing that. And I think he'll be a better quarterback than Kurt. If I'm going to say it right now, let him be the better quarterback than Kirk Cousins will be.
Wow.
I'm gonna say it.
Wow.
I'm gonna say it.
See now.
Let me piss off
Holy
Cat
smokes,
now.
Man. What? I mean, come on now.
Wow.
Cousins he's not great, but he's established in the league here. You're talking about a dude who had one good game.
I say it like because Kirk Cousins had to kind of come off being behind Robert Griffin, and that was the star player at the time. He had to kind of come back in a shadow of footsteps under Griffin. Heineke's going to have to do that under the same thing with Fitzpatrick and Alex Smith. He's got to try and step into big shoes, and I think he can do that.
I think if they draft a quarterback, Heineke's cut. I think he'll get into training camp. I think he will be the one that they cut.
Okay.
They'll let him come to training camp, but I would say he's the one who's not gonna make it.
I was actually thinking Allen wasn't gonna make it.
Ron loves Kyle Allen. He loves him.
I do, but
he's a Panthers guy. He's his guy.
You know what? He's gonna find out. Like, I really think Allen's gonna find out he's not gonna be the teacher's pet after this year, and I think that's where he's tried to be under Ron's arm, is his teacher's pet. Like, he wants to get Allen to be in the starter role, but Allen isn't getting there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So look. I think you are absolutely right in the fact that Fitzpatrick being there, he's a seasoned veteran. You have Kyle Allen, and you have they're going to learn from Fitzpatrick. Yes, I think you think Heineke's ceiling is a little higher than it actually is. I think we're all going off of that Tampa Bay game, and but I understand. I get it. I'm hyped for the guy. I like him. I think he'll learn from Fitzpatrick. I don't think he's going to be that season, number one guy.
I just think he has a better vision for quarterbacks to be
Fitzpatrick. Of all the guys but I'm saying he ain't where he fits in, and he's going to play good. But he's got to stay on the field. It doesn't matter how good you are. You got to stay on the field. And B, we got footage of him from a second half of the Carolina game. You know what I mean? He has to do more for me to say that I'm like, yes. I like what they're saying, that we don't need it. Let's sell everything in-house. If a quarterback falls to us, let's get a quarterback in the draft. Whatever position. I'm not even gonna get ahead of myself, but definitely let's Get them all going. But Fitzpatrick is there because, yes, like you said, Ant, he's going to give us his that Fitz magic and get that switch magic where he's a switch. We don't know who's going to be our quarter. You know what I mean? And people that come behind him, they tend to do good because they learn from him. Yeah. You know what I mean? So I like that. But yeah, I don't think Heinicke's going to be that. You know, that's just me. That's my opinion. That's where we're going with it. But Joe, we got to move on. We got to move on because like we brought up before, the draft is a week and a day away, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, sir. So we can't wait, ladies and gentlemen. I don't know about y'all, but y'all that love watching us and talking football, this is that time. Us, as Washington football fans who have been through the past 2 decades of drafts, utility, the random picks, the crazy different things we've done in the draft. This is something we're looking forward to because we've actually, all of us have gone and looked and scouted and tried to think about who we want to pick. And we got okay picks for y'all. We all did a little mock draft simulator, you know, and some of us did a couple. You know, so hey, this is just like our fantasy football teams, man. This is like bingo cards. Let's get more the better. You know what I mean? So, we definitely about to bring you our mock draft. I'm gonna do the first 4 picks: the first round pick, the second round pick, and 2 third-round picks for Washington. And before I do this, the one thing I love about doing this show is I get to work with my buddies. 97? Will, I think I met you and our guest in 1997, freshman year. You know, and I've known you since like 98. So I absolutely love when I get on my buddies, bring on my guys. And today we are bringing on one of my friends, my man, Jack Niedermeyer. What up, Jack?
What's up, Jack?
Let's go.
You're muted, buddy.
Oh, you're muted. You're muted.
Look at it. He's an IT guy.
I muted myself,
there you go.
Guys.
What up, Jack?
Sean did that. Oh,
what up, man? How you doing, buddy?
Straight from my basement. I can actually wear my skin stuff again without my wife telling me it's racist. This is great.
Yes.
We join you, buddy. We join you.
Oh yeah, this is a good week, guys. I'm pumped. The Skins have all the draft picks. They have an extra third rounder. I'm pretty excited for it this year. So we'll see what happens. So
excellent.
Oh,
yeah. But it's good to be here, Sean.
Like so, actually, while I have you, welcome to Washington Football Weekly, sir. Glad you were able to join us.
Yes.
Real quick, while I have you, one of the first questions we asked, Washington is asking for fan requests to be, if you had a shot to pick the name, we all said Renegades, Red Wolves, Red Tails to be the name, Jack.
I'm thinking Warriors, just Washington Warriors, something like that, or the Warhogs. I like the Warhogs a lot. That sounds pretty good. I can live with that.
That's the one I heard. Yeah.
Man.
What is a Warhog?
Warhogs. Go Hogs.
We're going to have the Hogs back all over again.
Bring the Hogs back. They can take like the Arkansas Razorback logo and try to convert that over to it. I can go with something like that.
Start winking.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Hog
Get your hogs out, boys.
Get it going. So we brought you on here, and we're going to be doing the first 4 picks. Like he said, we had the first round and the 2 third-round picks. Okay. We've talked week after week about what direction we were going. We recently actually just talked about quarterback and how we think about that, but there's not very many people in that first round we're going to get. So, Jack, what are your the first round, we're going to go around once and talk about the first pick, the 19th pick in the draft. You're the GM, Jack. What do you do? Who do you pick?
All right. So with the first round this year, I think a lot more teams are going to go offensive tackle than we think. I can think of at least like 4 teams that could probably pick a tackle who actually picked before us. So a guy that I've been reading about lately that I kind of like is Tevin Jenkins out of OSU. He can play either tackle position, plays guard. Guy's 6'6", 320. They say he plays with a mean streak, kind of like Sheriff does. So, and with him potentially leaving after the tag this year, I think he's a pretty good possibility to pick up there at 19. I'd rather have some of the other prospects, but honestly, I don't think they're going to be there. The guy from Virginia Tech, the guy from what was it, Northwestern? No, I forget who it is exactly. So we'll see. But right now, I'm going to say Kevin Jenkins. Yeah.
All right.
I like that. Will, what you got, man?
Yeah, I'm staying in the same position. I'm boring here, folks. I'm going Christian Darrisaw from left tackle. I've been saying it week after week after week. I'm staying with it.
I'd like that. I just don't think he's going to be there.
Yeah. No, I think your scenarios are very possible. And I think what I think about Darrisaw that I like is he's a little athletic. He reminds me as maybe like a poor man's Trent Williams, ability to get out there. He's not just a mauler, but he can move. He can be active. He can get down the field to block. And so I think that I would love if he's there at 19. That's the route they go.
Right on. I've been saying it week after week. I want to get that wide receiver. And you know what? I'm actually gonna go on the facts of our boy Ab. Shout out to Ab for actually giving me some facts that actually stuck with me. Like I said, I've been stuck on a wide receiver that first round just because of the fact we need a 1-2 with McLaren.
Mm-hmm.
But we've got Curtis Samuel now. Do we really need a higher first round if those two are going to be our weapons? No. He said something last week about, if we're going to pick that first round, we want somebody that's going to almost guarantee a spot on the field as a starter.
Mm-hmm.
And it kind of resonated with me. And having to think that, my backup position for a first round was going to be somewhere in the safety or cornerback. And J.C. Horn from South Carolina has definitely worked up on my list to be chosen.
Yeah.
And that's because he definitely, if he picks up, like he has been in South Carolina on his defense and how to play zone and stuff like that, he could be a great detriment to our defense. And I think he could definitely be on the field, really quickly. He's got the speed. He's got the eye coordination to stay eyes on that quarterback and know where he's going to throw. I think that's a good choice for my first round, and I'm going to stick with that.
I said it last week, man. We're one injury away from Jimmy Moreland being our starting corner. That kind of scares me. As much as I love JMU and I love JMU Jimmy, shout out to I got 1 degree from there, but come on, I don't know.
Yeah, he needs to stay in the slot. I agree.
The Cowboys have, what the Giants have. Who knows what Philly's gonna draft here?
Yeah,
corners. You can't just throw out some Greg Stroman out there and think he's gonna.
And our fact is that we spent a lot of money on our first 4. We're spending money on our tags and like Rollier, like they're taking a lot of their money now. So why make a high we're going to try and make or spend a lot of money on offensive linemen in the first round. That's a lot of money we're going to be putting into our offensive line.
Yep.
Do I feel that's right to take it away from them? No, but I feel we could use that on the back end of our defense and really be solid.
Mm-hmm. I can see that. I'm going with you, Will. I'm sticking on O-line. Actually, you too, Jack. I'm going for I like. Look, honestly, I love your.
I'm gonna be in my corner, guys.
I love your pick at corner at a DBU, South Carolina. Jason, I like this guy. I like him. But look, I honestly think I think Jack, you hit the nail on the head with the fact that Sheriff most likely will be gone next year. And we're going to need to fill in that spot. I like Vera Tucker at a USC. I've seen him fall falling around 19, 20. So I definitely want to pick him. I like his size. I like his ability. I love Darasol, but I too agree that I don't think he's going to drop to us.
I don't think
but
he
then
will.
again, he might,
Yeah.
you know. But I love Vera Tucker, and I love what he's got going on. All right, so now we're gonna go on to the second pick. Will, I'm gonna start with you. You have your second pick in the draft. Who you picking?
Okay. So the route I'm going with this draft is we got to shore up our biggest needs with the first two picks. I don't want to do best player available. I don't want to do as much as there's going to be some receivers that are really enticing here as, oh man, that guy could be good for us. I want to improve a position that is a weakness. And so I'm going linebacker here. I'm going Jabril Cox from LSU. He's got some speed. Ron and Jack Del Rio want speedy linebackers who can run and chase and cover, and he's got that athleticism and speed. So you know what my thought process here is with my first two picks. I've got a starting left tackle, I've got a starting linebacker, and I'm improving that defense to help them lead us as they did last year and lead us even more.
Nice. I like that. All right, switch it up. Jack, I'm gonna come to you second. What's up, man?
All right, so yeah, talking about positions of need again. I don't think a lot of people are talking about how beyond our starting tight end, we don't really have anybody. Jeremy Sprinkle's gone. Logan Thomas, I think, played in something crazy amount of snaps last year. They're saying like second most to Travis Kelce, and so it's just you're really rolling the dice with throwing him out there every single. If he gets hurt, like you got nobody. You can particularly run tight end at that point. You're going to the top of the trash heap. So I know Kyle Pitts will definitely not be there in the second round, but I like the tight end at Penn State. Was it Pat Freiermuth? Am I saying that right?
Freiermuth.
Yeah.
Freiermuth.
Yeah,
whatever. But so they're saying that if he went out last year, he probably would have been a first round pick. So just with the needs of teams this year, I think he'll end up falling to the second. I don't know if he'll fall that far into the second, but he can block. It's good. Good catching tight end. I know that the WFT just picked up that basketball player, whoever that guy is.
Yeah.
I saw a picture of him.
Reyes.
0% body, 0% body fat.
Yeah.
But I think to help out right away, I think the tight end at Penn State, I think would make an immediate impact.
Oh man, if he's there at the second round pick, man, I'd love it as well. I don't know if he's going to be there. It wouldn't surprise me if someone jumps into the first round and grabs him with one of those last picks. I think maybe one of those surprises.
Didn't you have one of your mock drafts where you jumped up and got it?
I did that.
Are you still paying extra for the later rounds? I can do the first round, but you got to pay for more, don't you?
No.
Is it free?
Yeah, I don't know which ones you did. Yeah. I grabbed him at 19 overall just to see.
All right.
Throw everything off.
Did you trade it back into the first round?
No.
All right, Ed, what you got, man?
So, hoping my scenario happens, I've decided to put Rondell Moore as my second round high. Like, he's one of those ones, if he falls through the cracks in the first round, we're going to smack dab and get him. Like,
will fall through the cracks in the first round. Not going to get picked in the first round.
He will.
I mean, it's kind of a fight between him and Kadarius from Florida, just because they're both small. They both have the speed, and they're both really a good fill-in for that slot receiver that we really do need. And I feel we do need a receiver because we're gonna have airmail through with Fitzpatrick, and I think he's gonna run our wide receivers all over the damn field. So we need a third or fourth to help back up some of that energy and just keep it going and run everybody else's defense off the field with them.
Sure.
So, keeping Rondell Moore, like I've always been having a wide receiver in our first two picks. And I think him being a logical one would be our good second round.
And
I like that pick. I was actually reading up on him this evening, and it's just you can't argue with that speed, but the durability, I'm a little bit concerned. Like they're saying, like 7 total games the last 2 seasons or something along those lines. It's just
he got hurt last year. I know he was out
Yeah.
for a while.
Well, I think he's 5'9" listed, but I think they might have measured him, and he could be closer to 5'7", 5'8". He's a runt. He's quick as all get out, but like as I said, I mean, like I said,
I mean, he
Squad
could
is
be
the
an
perfect stopper.
undeniable like Skrulls for us.
He's like a Debo Samuel type. He's like a small guy that you can move around. No,
he was not
just because he's from
small.
South Carolina,
He's
get
not
out of here
small
with
at
that,
all.
man.
I'm more like Tyreek Hill, like that around there.
Yeah.
Like even
He's a
Tyreek
small
Hill's
guy,
more,
speedy guy,
than
that
he
type
is.
of stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Could be
I'd love to
dynamic,
have
though.
Tyreek
He could
Hill
make
playing
it.
on that team. Yeah.
Right, I'll take that, but
Yeah.
you know, so we'll probably get him in a second. For my second round pick, it's a guy. I went for a position that we need. Honestly, I want Xavier. I wanted Xavier on 19. Xavier Collins from Tulsa. I like his size, I like his speed. I think he'd be a great fill-in. And with going along the lines of a linebacker for a second round pick, actually, Jack, on one of the shows that you watched a couple weeks ago, you actually mentioned it. Jamin Davis out of Kentucky.
Yeah, he's climbing, man.
Yeah, 6'3.5", 234. I like his size. I like his ability. I like what he's got going. So, and like you said, he has been climbing, because when I first started mock drafting and looking into this, you know, I had no clue. Even as a matter of fact, even a couple weeks before you mentioned it, I was kind of like, "Who is this guy?" When I started watching tape, he's moving up, man.
He looks good. The only knock on him is he's not started a lot of games, so he's just, you know, before like last year, I think he wasn't a full-time starter. So that's the only knock on him. But he's young. He's a junior, so we'll see. Yeah.
Fast.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. He had a real good pro day. Yep.
So I like that. Definitely want to get him in there. Like we have been talking about on the show, Bostic actually is not. You know, he's getting a little bit more love in house from Washington than a lot of us maybe give him credit for. And you already know I love my guy Holcomb at a UNC, baby. Tar Heel Nation.
Oh man.
We're good to go, baby. But I think this guy can definitely get on the field. But I think he definitely could get in rotation. I like what he's got going, so I think that'd be a good second pick. All right, so we're moving on. The third pick, and we have 2 picks in the third, so we're going to go with both picks. And I'm going to come to you first. We have 2 picks in the third round. What are you going for?
So this is where I start have my problems on my picks, but I feel this is where we need our bodies. I had 2 picks that I kind of was thinking that would be down, and that's Kendrick Green from Illinois.
Okay.
He's a guard, and then there's Walker Little, the tackle from Stanford. I want to say I would go with Walker a little bit better than Green, just because of him being on the field a little bit longer, and he was part of one of the great good lines of this year in college football. So I would put Walker Little as my third pick as my pick in the third round. Like I said, he's a good able body. He'll be there. He'll, you know, be diligent on the field. And I think that would be a good O-line pick that later down in the road.
You're going two linemen in the third round, beefing that up.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, I think
What you got,
I don't know if he opted. I'm trying to see, did he opt out? He didn't play last year, which is kind of why he's sliding a little bit. Yeah.
2019 was his good year.
Yeah.
I feel like this. That's where I say like him not being on last year puts like Green a little bit ahead of him. Green was still diligent. He was, you know, on and off. He had a few injuries with his knee or something like that, with one of the running backs falling off.
Yeah,
it's a normal injury as a lineman. You know, you can recover from that.
Yeah.
But with him being on the field, that's where it's like waving 50-50 between the two. Like, you have the pros and cons with this guy, and you have the pros and cons with this guy. Like, choosing those two, but having them both in the third round, I think you just get the benefit of it.
Yeah.
Nice. Will, what you got, man?
All right, so I like the thought process that Jack had, where he said, you know, the next guy behind Logan Thomas at tight end is nobody right now for the team. So I went Hunter Long from Boston College. He's a little bit more of a receiver, I think, right now, which I think will be fine. We're complementing in 2 tight end sets. You know, Logan Thomas is probably a little more polished as a blocker, but he could get there. The other one that I'm pretty high on as a tight end in that spot would be the dude out of Miami, Brevin Jordan, who is I heard is a better blocker than people think. They kind of think he's just a receiver, but he's actually a better blocker. So I got tight end picked up there, trying to shore up some depth, help the offense a little bit. And then the second pick in the third round, I'm trying to fix our free safety. I like Jeremy Reeves. I want to give him a chance, but I'm getting the dude from Indiana that all of us were mocking and sending around, Jamar Johnson.
Jamar Johnson.
And I'd be fine if it's not him. If it's just a free safety is what I'm looking for there. You know, some type of DB to come in and give Reeves some competition and you know, see what he can be.
Draft, wasn't
Yeah, I was reading that guy at like USC, Talanoa Hufanga or something like that.
I don't know.
Yeah, I think he was like he had a pretty solid year last year, but I think he's broken his collarbone twice, and there's some questions on his speed. But otherwise, he helped lead the USC defense last year. So I don't know. He got a third round pick, but maybe later in the draft they could slip something and snatch him up. So.
What you got for both third round picks, Jack?
All right, so I like Dylan Moses out of Alabama, linebacker. I think he's going to end up slipping a little bit. He had a down year this year, and last year I think he missed most of the season. But year before that, he really flashed. Even on like a rotational basis, like he was able to produce on that Alabama defense, which is not a too easy thing to do. Right. Other guy I got is Will's favorite guy, Kyle Trask.
Woo!
In the SEC,
baby.
Yep. I think you got to take advantage of having Fitzpatrick on your team for a year. Good mentor. Willing to show a younger quarterback the ropes. I think you got to take advantage of it while you got him. So I'm not too big of a fan of the guys they have behind Fitzpatrick. Heineke's just too fragile. I just don't see him being a full-time starter.
Thank you for that.
Boo. All y'all wrong. All y'all wrong.
Apparently Kirk Cousins.
Diving head first towards the pylon, he just gets killed. That's gonna be it. And then I don't know the infatuation with Kyle Allen. Like I think you know what you're gonna get with him. Like I'm still having trouble realizing why they keep on carting him out there every single chance that Rivera gets. I don't get it, but
Ron's teacher's pet.
Yes.
That's what he is. He's Ron's clipboard buddy. That's what it is.
Ron's
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Go for it, Sean. Oh, go ahead.
Go ahead.
I mean, I definitely had. We had our mock drafts, and Jamin Davis was almost on everybody's mock draft.
Yeah,
I'm not gonna lie. Yeah. Like that name has been floating around in my head, and again with offensive tackles and having bodies, like that was my other choice of throwing in the ring of like I was kind of limiting down who I was going to pick in that third round, and his name has just been popping up in the later rounds, and it's like, man, is he a good body or is he just is he worth that pickup? And
I think he is.
I've been reading more and more on him. Like he's a good player.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, played against some good teams. I could see him definitely producing. Yeah, but
the best play in the SEC.
Oh, that's right. I forget that sometimes.
Really?
Hey, facts don't lie. Sorry.
Wow.
This guy.
Which league every year gets the most draft picks? What league? SEC. Everybody wants.
South Carolina.
Not the reason. We get one or two.
It's
All
like
right.
the boy Clowney going to the Browns, paying big money for someone who's going to get you 0 sacks.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah,
You go play the equivalent of what Kerrigan played for us. You can play what 19 snap, like 10% of the top of the field. Yeah.
You know,
He's just
CB
getting
stays on the field. I can't believe it. I like going on on Facebook. I get the Browns fans popping on there, like talking about the Clowney signing. I just love the people that's hating on it. It's hilarious.
It's ridiculous.
It's so stupid. But
Yeah.
we'll see. We'll see. Maybe you just need to get on a better line. But I didn't think Tennessee had any slouches there. So
No, he didn't really show out in Tennessee. That was kind of surprising.
yeah, agreed.
So for my 2 third-round picks, and I'm glad you said your little piece, Will, about the SEC, because in my mind, the up-and-coming league, the ACC, with Clemson and Tar Heels, led by Mac Jones. Let's go, baby. Yo, for my first third-round pick, I'm getting De'Ami Brown, wide receiver from Carolina. I think he'll be a good number 3 guy. Can potentially move up to 2. They had a great 1-2 punch with De'Ami Brown and I don't know why I can't think. I just look at his name. The other receiver guy. Stop! Don't do it. Don't do it to me right now, because I was thinking about Michael Carter and I was thinking about my running back. I was thinking about my guys. Okay, so I love what De'Ami Brown brings. That's when I would go for my receiver in the third round, first one, third round. The second one, and I gotta piggyback on what you said, Will. Strong safety, Jamar Johnson out of Indiana. I think that's somebody that can compete for that job, potentially take that job, and I like it. I like what he's got going on. They had a nice little squad in the beginning of the year, and they worked out. He did some things, so I like that. Another guy that did come up, what's his name? Anton, you mentioned him, Kendrick Green, the guard from Illinois, and that goes along with that line of knowing we pretty much know Sheriff's gone next year.
Yeah.
Got tagged twice. We pretty much know he's not going to be with us. So we need somebody to fill in that spot. And I would much rather have a guy that we can sit in there who's playing and potentially get some playing time, as opposed to getting him the following year and fitting him in and then having him learn as he goes.
Yeah.
So that's,
Sean, one of the things when you talked about Barrett Tucker, you're the one who said that you wanted him, right?
Yeah.
So he can play tackle or guard. And the same is true about our 4th round pick from last year, Sadiq Charles. They don't know if he's going to be a tackle or a guard. It kind of sounds like they're leaning toward pushing him inside, but it's like having that position flexibility to let them duke it out in training camp, figure out, hey, one of y'all is going to be our starting left tackle, and one of y'all we're grooming to take over for a Sheriff next year. Could be good for, since we really don't know what we got out of Charles.
That's why Walker Little is that exact player. He's that guard and tackle switch. There's some plays where he actually had to cover for the guard. And I definitely feel like using those facts for his choice later down that road. Because, Sadiq Charles, we don't know. He's still questionable, so we can't really get 100%.
And that's the other part of it. Shout out to Ab for mentioning this last week. Sadiq Charles played a couple snaps and then got hurt. You know what I mean? So it's another one of those where we cannot evaluate you if you're not on the field. You know what I mean? So I definitely want. I like what you had, Anton, where you had the 2 guys and the 2 linemen, because we got to get people bodies that can play and they're going to be on the field. Or unfortunately, they're going to end up like the guys that we're cutting, like a Thaddeus Moss and a Bryce Love. You're injured, you're not on the field, so they're going to cut. You know what I mean? And Sadiq Charles can play. So, but I like where we're going. I want to shout out Ab. He sent us his mock draft. I don't think he's going to be able to make it on the show to him. Shout out Mr. Shirtless Wonder. And so his first pick, and actually I did a mock draft simulator as well, and his first pick came up as Mac Jones. I saw Mac. Yeah. I saw
all
Mac
this
Jones.
Talking, Ab goes Mac
all
Jones.
That talk. And his first pick came up
Such
as
an
Mac
Indian
Jones.
giver.
I was like, wait a minute. So, but the second pick he had was Jamin Davis from Kentucky, the linebacker. For the third pick was Landon Dickerson, the center from Alabama.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then his fourth pick was Brady Christensen, a tight end for tackle from BYU. Tackle from BYU. So it's pretty interesting. That's pretty interesting.
BYU boy's probably older. He's probably ready to play. Coming in the league at 25.
Well,
Yeah,
right.
right. He's got to go on his mission trip before he can play.
Yeah, I did. Yeah. He did his little ministry, right?
Plug and play. He's ready to go.
I'll take the older guys. Let's get.
You right?
He's already been around, all right?
Yeah.
Pick him after his
I'm really
rookie
surprised
contract.
that Ab would pick a center like that, especially since like anytime you mentioned they signed Roulier and stuff, but it's flexibility. Or I mean, you also don't want those centers. Roulier, I'm not too keen on that signing. I'll be honest with you. I see too many times him getting drilled right back into the quarterback's stomach. I was kind of surprised they gave him so much money.
Yeah.
So that is what we have. And ladies and gentlemen, like I said, a week from tomorrow, April 29th, I will be in Chicago as a part of the Let's Talk Football Roundtable doing a live draft event. At the 19th pick, I will be calling my guys, Will, Anton, Ab, Jack. If you're available, I'll hit you up too. And we're gonna talk about our 19th pick. We're gonna say who we want, and then we're gonna get reactions to what happens after we pick. Hopefully, Mr. Dan Snyder doesn't come off his yacht and pick up some quarterback in the
I think this
first
is
round.
the year that he finally starts taking a step back. I've been saying that for a few years now, but I think this is it.
He just gave him the whole
He's not
tape.
involved.
Sit down, shut up. You already
We're
got
trading
all
all our
the
picks for
rest of
Trey
that.
Lance.
I think we got the guys in the front office that will finally do that. I think Ron would say, "Get out of here."
Yeah,
God, I hope he does. Just pushes him in the face.
Yeah, it just mushes him.
Shut up and get out of here.
Yo. So that is definitely what's up. I did want to end the show. Actually, matter of fact, and this is another one that was potentially like love or hate it, but I'm glad I got you on here, Jack. So another person retired, and I'm going to talk to you about that in a minute. But this person, Jordan Reed, retires. So Jack, I'll come to you first. We know what he did for us. I mean, he was one of the best tight ends in the league for those couple of years, but you can't stay on the field. So how you feel about this, man?
I'm happy to see him retire. You get that many concussions throughout your life, you're going to have some long-term effects with that down the road. I hope he doesn't end up like Junior Seau or just some other guys where they can't hold it together, later. Stuff like that's scary. Like, luckily I've never had a concussion myself, but reading about it and seeing about it like the last 5, 6, 7 years, like you can't deny that you got to think about other things beyond football. What your life's going to be like afterwards. And I'm happy you decided to do it now. Maybe you should have done it a couple seasons ago. I don't know, but you can't deny the guy was definitely productive. He was on the field. That's for sure.
Oh yeah. I mean, I go back to the Dallas game where he has the broken ribs and still gets those, touchdowns. And you know what I mean? Like that was the thing about him. If he could stay on the field, he was a threat, a serious threat, but
uncoverable.
Right. But if you can't stay on the field, and Will come to you if you can't stay on the field. I mean, shout out to him for making his comeback in San Francisco. But like you said, Jack, those concussions are nothing to play with. So, Will, what you think?
Right. Yeah. I mean, we go to the games and you could just see, or even just watching on TV in the red zone, like, okay, Jordan Reed's in the slot. Kirk's throwing him the ball.
No, he's going. Absolutely. Yeah.
I mean, he had
couldn't be covered, but it was like, he was, we're ripping on Brandon Sheriff, man. Jordan Reed was on the field for even less games. You might get 8 games out of him. That's a good season right there.
Yeah.
It's too bad. So he made the right call. I couldn't believe someone said he only played 6 or 7 years in the league. I just felt like he's been in there longer. To think like really only 7 years, but it was unfortunately due to injuries. It was time.
Yep.
I think his concussions really played that longer role. Like after his third concussion, like he almost gave me like that Cam Newton feel. Like he didn't get his confidence in playing on the field. Like he would give up on plays. Like he was crying about, this guy grabbing me, this guy's aiming for my head. Like that's how he played after like his third year with us. And I don't think Gruden or anybody else wanted to hear it anymore. But he was an unbelievable factor at jumping and getting that ball. He was, he had a little bit of Witten in him with like being consistent. He could always catch the ball. And yes, that third down, who else were they going to pass it to? Jordan Reed.
Right.
And he was great in open field. If he had that space, he always got you those 6-7 yards, moving the ball and keeping his feet running. But I feel sad for him that he did have all these concussions this quick. And it's sad to see such good talent like his go to waste.
Mm-hmm.
Him and Vernon Davis on our team, they were great combos. He was really a rising star.
Yeah.
It just sucked that his talent is really hushed by those concussions.
Right. Absolutely right. But like you said, after that third concussion, after a certain time, he just kind of, I don't want to say fully clocked out, but he definitely was kind of like,
he had his foot out the door at that point.
Because I think it was either you or Ab that had brought. I think, as a matter of fact, I think it was you a couple weeks ago that brought up the time where he had, he had run around and Kurt threw it and the guy picked it off. Yeah, it was Will. The guy picked it off and he just looked and he was complaining. He was right in an arm's length. And he just starts complaining to the ref, and the guy takes it back. So. You got to be on the field, but we can't doubt his ability. And when he was on the field, he was a matchup problem.
Oh yeah,
absolutely, yeah. Those concussions compile, man. Your body never completely recovers. Like it's
right.
Like that was one of those. Like he was one of those guys. If like him and Garcon and Smith had all been on the field at the same time, it would have been a threat. But they all couldn't be on the field at the same time. So it just made it a worse problem for us.
Yeah.
Yep. So absolutely. And before we go, Jack, we did mention this before. Last year's comeback player of the year, Alex Smith, has decided to hang it up, Jack. How are you feeling about this, man?
I heard he decided to do it when he was snowboarding. So good for him, man. Like He's definitely an inspiration, I think, to a lot of people. Like I'm definitely not wired that way. I don't have that type of mental toughness, man. So
Mr. Moral.
Yeah.
Moral support.
Yep. Now watching him play is a different story, where you're just holding your breath every single time he drops back, expecting his knee to explode, and this is going to be the last time you see him live. And so it's just yeah, and he just. From his lack of wanting to take the downfield chances, I think that was my biggest issue. Is that he wasn't willing to kind of not necessarily force the ball downfield, but I just feel like we were checking the ball down. He did make J.D. McKissick and some of the running backs look pretty good by dumping the ball off a decent amount, doing some short 5-10 yard dump off passes. But it's time. Unless he's going to hold the clipboard somewhere, which I don't think he wants to do. Like he didn't want to do that. He wanted to start, and I just don't think he's going to get that opportunity on any of the teams this year. So it was time. But you can't argue with that guy's mental and physical toughness. I don't think 99.9% of the people could have come back from what he did, and he was able to do it. And
you're absolutely right.
Looking at that mummified leg, just just grossed me out, man. But
yeah.
But, I wish him the best. Like whatever he wants to do next, and I think he lives out in Hawaii, so I don't feel too bad for him. So
he's good.
Nice life.
He's good.
Yeah,
I'm gonna drink my haterade on that note.
Like Jack, like I told him, like I was when I always go back to Kyle Allen getting hurt, and then all of a sudden Alex Smith comes in the game, and when his first snap. You see the pocket collapse, and you just see Aaron Donald just hop on it. And I'm like, okay, there it is. He's done. Who's next?
It's going to happen.
Yeah, it looked like Donald would have pick him up and take him to the sideline. Like, here's your snack. Like,
you just pan over to the side, and the guys with the stretcher are like right there. Like, oh, bro.
Right. Let's go. Get him off the field. But look, for me, it was even before that, though. I always go back to the video that his family took when he found out that he was going to play again, and he's walking
Yeah.
out and they're hitting him with champagne, and I'm just like, oh shit, he's going to slip. He's going to slip. This is it. I was like, don't do that.
What are you doing this
So,
time?
hey, but yeah, much power to you, because like you said, you hit the nail on the head, Jack. I don't know if there's 2 or 3 people in the league that would have been able to go through what he went through and then come back and lead a team to division champions. I mean, he led us to a division championship. You know, I mean, so I'm glad he gets to ride off in the sunset, collect your paycheck, keep it moving. You had a great career. You know what I mean? So more power to you, buddy. More power to you, Alex.
Yep.
Yes. Woo! All right. Wednesday night. I get to hang out with my people, man. Jack Niedermeyer. I am so thankful and appreciative that I've got to see your face and talk to you on Wednesday night about our football
Oh,
team.
man, no, it's a pleasure. I love talking football with the boys. You know, it's
Yeah.
it's been a while. Mostly, I'm just hanging out with my kids, man. And so it's just, you know,
Talk to us
I was
about that.
upstairs-
Yo, Papa
Yeah.
Bear.
the background over here. You see all this? Like
Oh, yeah.
down here, I got my little kitchenette down here. You know, I got my keyboard here. If I get bored, I can start playing this guy.
There we go.
You know, I'm living the dream, guys.
Yes.
Last 2 nights, I think my 2-year-old's woken up like 6 or 7 times, like the last 2 nights. So it's just been, yeah.
More power to you, buddy.
Thanks, guys. I appreciate it.
Living
No,
the dream.
anytime, Sean. Just give me a heads up. I'm more than willing to, you know, help out.
Sean's first.
I'll let Melissa know.
Yes. There you go. Hey, Jack, and I will be hitting you up because, hey, like I've told everybody about Will and Anton, you guys were the guys who I was talking to about this stuff for years. Well before there was a show, well before there was Let's Talk Anything, when we were still the Washington Redskins, I was talking to you guys and going to football games with you guys and doing all this. So I will definitely bring you in to the show anytime where we have something to talk about, man. I appreciate you being able to be here, buddy.
He gets my thumbs up.
Thanks, guys. It's good talking.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So, yo, you know the name, man. Is S to the P, double deuce on the loose. Sean Spencer over here. I got Mr. Moral Support, the Ant-Man, Anton Benton. I got Dub K, South Carolina's Eggplant right here.
DBU.
DBU. And I got Papa Bear. I got Jack Niedermeyer, my man.
Look at me now, boys.
Yo, hey, tune in next week. We will. Oh, I didn't even think about that. So I will be traveling next Wednesday, but I'm still going to try to do the show, a pre-show to the draft next week. So we will be here next week, same time, same place, leading up to the draft next Thursday, April 29th, where we'll be doing a live show in Chicago. Ladies and gentlemen, check us out. And I think that's that today. I think that's that. So, yo, I thank all of you for being here. Yo, thanks for y'all for watching us, because this has been Washington Football Weekly. I'll see y'all next week, people. Peace.
All right.
Later, guys.